Welcome to the Bird Gang Nation Sports Media Show, repping the greatest team of all time. Let's go! Bird Gang 31, he be the host with the most. We going deep, burning teams. They ain't nothing but toast. It's Senior Estes. Sirianni put me in coach, running like Miles Sanders Hill. I bumped my head on the post. Touchdown! Yeah, that's coming. Devontae's crazy route running. Jalen hurting them, throwing lasers to Rager, young gunning. Come on! On the D side, we ride, sack him with Fletcher, lay him out on the stretcher. No one can protect you. Watch Darius lay him, shutting down your routes. Come on! In my green John, eating Philly cheesesteaks. Put up your cups, wings up, if you can relate. Tailgating at the link like Hansey stride to the Bird Gang Nation that's worldwide. On Sundays, catch the pre and post game. Mondays is Birds on Broad Street with Philly Notion and Cool Cat the Man in Motion. And Wednesdays, the midweek special got you open with JC from Eagles Talk, hitting like B-Dog, baby.
Welcome to another edition of Bird Gang Nation Sports Talk. I'm your host, Bird Gang 31. Today, Nation, we have another very special guest in the house today. It's Ren from the PewterCast, right? The PewterCast? Can you hear me?
I can.
Yeah.
Sorry, I had it playing a rookie mistake. My bad.
No worries.
I had the link open in another tab, so it was like, listen, it was hearing you double talk, but apologies, Eagles fans. Hello, how are we? Thanks for having me on. I'm excited to talk Buccaneers, Eagles, and as I say at the end of every one of our shows, I'm always down to talk Buccaneers football.
All right, sounds good. Go ahead and let them know about your show. How long you guys been around, and how long have you been a Bucs fan?
Well, I've been a Bucs fan, as you can tell by my gray beard here. I've been a Bucs fan since their inception. Lots and lots of lean years. But the PewterCast came to be about 6 years ago. After 2 years, we started getting credentials to training camp. They started letting us in. We do 3 pods a week during the season and once a week during the off season. We have over 600,000 downloads, and we got sponsors, and people give us money, and so
awesome.
Be able to talk about your favorite sports team and be able to pay like a couple of bills with it too is just kind of all you can really ask for. Doing this is being a fan of your favorite team.
Oh yeah, man, that's what I'm trying to do here. You know what I'm saying? We got a whole network that I just started up, called BGNM Nation Sports Media. So if you ever get a chance, you can check that out. And then, I'm trying to build my own platform here on BGNM Nation Sports Talk. So, we just got monetized here. We're about, been doing it for a little bit over 3.5 months, and we're up to, 1,315 subscribers, somewhere around there. Nice. So that's pretty good for the first 3 months. I feel, people are liking the stuff. So I'm gonna keep
for the first 3 months.
I'm gonna keep trying to bring it out there. Keep bringing that fire on the screen here. What's up to everybody in the chat? We got Smoke a Lot in here. Wolf of the Olden. We got Big Play Slay. What up, my guy? Smoke a Lot. Grand Gazir. What's up, my guy? Thank you guys for coming out. Make sure y'all hit that like on the way in. So go ahead and tell me, how do you like the Bucs so far this year? What's not to like with the 4-1 start? You know what I'm saying? But tell me, was this what you expected the Bucs to be? How do you like it? And give me some good and bad over the first 5 games.
Sure. Pretty much right on track, at least record-wise. The Bucs have sort of had a little bit of trouble running the ball until a couple of weeks ago. when New England came out and basically played dime the whole entire game and dared them to run the ball. First time they went over 100 yards. And then they committed to the run against Miami, too. Went over 150 yards, I believe, in total rushes that game. So I guess that's it. The defensive secondary, if you're outside looking in, you hear a lot about how many passing yards they're giving up, and they're giving up a ton. But teams have not run the ball at all. I think most of us watched the very first game of the year, Dallas Buccaneers, and I think they ran the ball 6 times, and they have Ezekiel Elliott and Pollard, but they kept, throwing the ball outside on the edges to get the ball in the hands of their playmakers in space and make the cornerbacks and, come up and make the tackle, and, the inside linebackers get out there in pursuit and try to stop them. And so that's sort of like what everyone's done. I'm sure a lot of people watched the New England game. They did the same thing, but they also brought the middle of the field in. But nothing was ever past the sticks in the New England game. Dak took his shots. So, the defense is sort of a work in progress, as most of them are here now. But, you really can't complain. They're 4-1. The secondary is banged up. We lost a starting corner every single game for like 3 weeks in a row there. So that's why we went out and had to go get Richard Sherman. So the corners that only one of the corners, he's back now, but only Jamel Dean, only one of the corners that we started the season with just, like you said, like 5 weeks ago, is actually healthy. 2 of them are on IR. Hoping to get him back soon. But so I would have to say the secondary defense, the run defense is leading the league. They held New England to -1 yard. Yeah. So they're leading for the 3rd year in a row. They've been the best run defense the past 2 years in the NFL. They're leading it now. So again, what's really not to like? It's very weird. Someone who covers the Bucs and is trying to do content on them, because it's a lot easier to have a crappy team, and so you can have all these things to point at and blame and point fingers as a fan and be irate. But Brady comes out and you win by 3 scores, and he throws for 400 yards and 5 TDs, and you go all live and you're like, oh, what do you want to talk about? I'm like, well, Brady's awesome. Okay, see you next week, guys. Like, so
right?
The team can be had. I'm not saying any like they're the best ever or they're unbeatable. Anything like that. I mean, who would have thought the Chiefs would have a losing record 5 weeks into the season?
Right, that's a shocker.
So any team can be had, but as a Bucs fan, it's sweet living right now, I gotta say.
Yeah, man, that's nice. Were you happy when Tom Brady came over last year? Besides before he won the Super Bowl, obviously, were you one of those fans that was looking for that next quarterback for the team, or were you like, give Jameis a little bit more time?
Well, yes, I was happy we had Tom Brady, because who wouldn't be? I mean, let's face it. There was only probably a handful of quarterbacks in the league that wouldn't have moved on from who they had, from Tom Brady, like Mahomes and Rodgers and God, I don't know who else is out there, that, you wouldn't want to move on from. So we were very pro Jameis, near the end, though, it was like we would say, Jameis, like, I'm going to die on the hill for you, but you're not giving me any ammunition. Like, I'm up here with a gun ready to take on all comers, but you're not giving me ammunition. So we always wanted Jameis to succeed. Everybody wants that guy that hangs around, 15 to 20 years to be their starting quarterback and just solidify that quarterback position. So, of course, we wanted it to happen. But, if you're going to move on, I thought Jameis had enough time. I think he is what he is. If he gets different coaching and he changes a bit, I think if at the end of the year you extrapolate out what he's going to do sort of with the Saints, I mean, I don't think he's going to throw 30 picks like he did last year.
Yeah.
But, you still see the highly questionable decisions with the football, the gunslinger mentality. His football IQ is outstanding as far as like pre-snap and all sort of that thing. But situational football, like I've seen it, like he just can't get it through his head that you can punt. Like it's like in this situation, it's better to punt than try to force one into double coverage, because you're feeling it and you want, and it's going to be a big play. So again, I would love to see Jameis be here, 15, 20 years. Excellent worker, great attitude, great teammate. There's nothing bad you can say about him except he turns the ball over a ton, like too much. You can't win games in the NFL turning the ball over as much as he did.
True that. True that. I don't know if you watched any of our games this year. I was going to see what do you think about the Eagles, and what do you think is going to be the biggest test going into the tomorrow matchup?
I have not seen any of the games, but I did a pod with Josh. Ooh, hang on. Let me. I closed it. Josh Tolenson from the Philadelphia Inquirer. He's their beat reporter, so I did a pod with him today. So, he was he wasn't very glowing about the team. He wasn't disparaging, but he's a reporter, so he has no fan in him at all. He's worried about, the offensive identity. Like, they're not running the ball a lot. The offensive line is really banged up right now. The receivers are very fast, but they're also very young. Hurts either won't throw the ball down the field, or they're not letting him throw the ball down the field enough. And defensively, as you know, being an Eagles fan, and no offense, I'm not trying to start anything, but you guys haven't had good linebackers since the 60s.
Hey, you are not offending nobody. That we say that every show, man.
Yeah.
Shout out to my boy JC Eagle Talk. Member of the BIRDGANG Nation Sports Talk, and my co-host, man. Thanks, much love for the $2 shot super chat there, buddy. I'm gonna keep grinding, my guy. Great stream earlier we had too as well, man. Thanks for doing that, my guy. But go ahead.
Yeah, no problem. Your front, the defensive line, Fletcher Cox, may be having a little bit of a down year, but it's super early, too small of a sample size. But Hall of Famer in my opinion. Apparently, is it Hargreaves or Hargraves?
Hargraves.
Okay, Hargraves is apparently the best interior defensive lineman in football statistically wise. I've heard of him. I haven't seen him play, so I'm excited to watch that. But then Josh also said that the Eagles are doing a lot, not blitzing a lot, and they're trying to get home with their front four. I don't think that's really going to work too well against Tom Brady and the offensive line. Our tackles are playing really well. We have some really good interior offensive linemen led by Ali Marpet. So if you're only going to bring four and then you got Tom Brady as your quarterback, it's kind of a formula for a long day. But again, anything can happen. We didn't touch much on the secondary, to be honest. He felt like they're a little overmatched, but everybody's overmatched.
Yeah.
There's three elite wide receiver cores in the NFL. We have one, Dallas has one, and the Rams have one. Pick who's 1, 2, 3, don't care, but every defensive backfield is going to be overmatched, especially when you throw in players like Gronk and O.J. Howard, and then you got Giovanni Bernard coming from Cincinnati, who's a great third down back. He makes everybody miss. The first guy miss in space, and third down, passing the ball out in the flat. He will absolutely make the first guy miss, and he'll get what he can. And that was sort of the only thing the Bucs offense was missing last year. So, So Josh didn't paint a glowing picture of how the Eagles are going to be able to win this game. But again, I'm really excited to see what their front four and possibly their front seven, if they decide to, they have to blitz a lot, is going to do. Because I think what we're going to see offensively is what we've seen every week. What Dallas did, what the Rams did, what New England did to the Bucs and that's what I heard you guys are doing. It's like you throw more bubble screens and passes and get it out in space to your guys and run some slants, and that's what's been happening to the Bucs all year. People don't even try to run the ball. They don't. If a team attempts 10 runs, that's a lot. They abandon the run from the get-go, and they say, if we're going to beat this team, we're going to have to beat them on the outside and get it out quick because of the front seven and the pass rush, and we're gonna have to put together 12 plays, 7 yards at a time, and see what happens.
Yeah, do you think this game is kind of a trap game though for you guys? Coming off that big win in Miami, short week, heading into Philadelphia, which we're pretty good on, Thursday night football, in the primetime spotlight there. Do you think it's a trap game because you guys probably hot on your high horse? You guys just had a big win. We had an emotional comeback from behind win too. This past week against Carolina, where our defense played excellent.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I was very happy to see that. I honestly think, it can be when on paper, again, I'm not trying to throw stones here, but on paper it seems to be a mismatch. Any game could sort of be a trap game, but I think the Miami game was the trap game. Coming off the emotional game of New England, going back to Foxborough, like putting all the eggs in that basket. Like Tom Brady wanted to win that game bad, 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 bad.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't even care. Like it was just win. Like I didn't care what it looked like because I couldn't put up with the New England fans. Oh yeah, you got Brady, but you can't beat us. We're still, all that Boston crap that they do.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just happy to get out of there. I thought the Miami game was a trap game. Everybody, like the national media and even the local beat reporters, were still talking about the New England game on Thursday. Like
Mm-hmm.
no one was talking about the Miami game at all. Like at all. Like it didn't, like people like threw up their stories on Friday, because they had to, because the game was coming up on Sunday. But no questions about, when the players had their interviews after practice during the week. All the questions were still about New England and Tom and that. It was nothing about, hey, Brian Flores, or nothing about, the Miami's two very good corners, or, Brissett played with Tom. Does that give him, like, any of that stuff? Nothing. It was still all New England. So I think Miami was a trap game, but again, we'll see.
Do you think that it was more Tom Brady or Belichick when he was in New England?
I don't know.
Do you think it's a 50-50 thing where they needed
No.
each other, or do you think one
Well,
put one more than the other?
I think early on, I don't think Tom Brady would become Tom Brady as much as Tom Brady is Tom Brady without Belichick. I think he would have succeeded because that's just kind of the person he is,
Mm-hmm.
and he would have got there. But I think at the end, and especially if you sort of look at the roster and the guys that he's had, especially to throw the ball to, he had one Pro Bowl Hall of Fame receiver his whole career, and he broke all kinds of records in 1 year. When he had Randy
Mm-hmm.
Moss,
Mm-hmm.
was that the undefeated season? I think it was.
Yeah, when
Uh,
they only lost in the Super Bowl.
yeah. So
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest, I don't care anymore. I've had this. We've been talking about, like, we as in Bucks fans have been talking about this since, it's been, so we're rolling on 15, 16 months now. That
Mm-hmm.
same question, and I don't really know enough about the Patriots when he was there. I'm a Bucks fan. I didn't follow the Patriots closely. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't read any of their articles and stuff. So, at the end of the day, I don't care. Would he put a gun to my head? I would say that Brady became Brady faster because of Belichick. But at the end, I think you kind of see what the team was when Brady left.
Mm-hmm.
Like they
I don't know if you can really count last year because that was his first year gone, and half the team was out on COVID. So like a lot of starters didn't play for the New England last year either
That's true. That's true.
without the
But
COVID. But yeah, it's to each his own. My boy JC said, "What quality wins have the Buccaneers had this year?" And he said, "Don't say Dallas because y'all lost to the Rams bad, and y'all beat Atlanta, Dolphins, Patriots by 2. What makes you think we can't beat y'all?"
everything I talked about earlier, um, no offensive identity, no explosive plays, a beat up offensive line, only trying to get four guys to get to Tom Brady, having zero. The middle of the field is going to be wide open if Tom Brady wants it.
But that was
Uh,
kind of like last year too, right?
I
I
don't.
mean, not last year, last week when we played Carolina, who was 3-1. You know, what I'm saying they were. I had a lot of their content creators on, and they were just like, we're 3-1. You know, even though Sam Darnold and Brady, you can't compare. Brady's hands down way
Yeah,
better quarterback. You know, they have some good receivers over there, not
they
as good
do.
as your three, obviously, but they did have a good defense over there as well.
They
You know,
do.
what I'm saying, and then we were able to go over there and pull out that win. You know, it's just kind of one of them feelings like, you know yes, you guys have won. You guys are sitting here at 4-1, and you lost to the only real card team on your schedule so far.
Sure.
So why would I would say out of the Patriots, Dolphins, and Atlanta, we already beat Atlanta. And I'm pretty positive we can beat the Dolphins and the Patriots as well too. Like we besides Dallas too, because you got to beat Dallas too. That's where you forgot to put on here. Oh, he said Dallas right there. But yeah, besides Dallas, I know Dallas beat us pretty handily there. But I feel like that was more self-inflicted wounds as opposed to them actually beating us. So What chance do do you not think we have a chance at all to win this game?
No.
Zero chance?
No, I don't think you're gonna win. Like on my pod, we I don't know if I'm sure a lot of people have noticed, but online betting is now huge in sport. Like it's on TV now, and NFL like on their on the NFL channel they actually have to do a ticker. So we have we have an online Costa Rica online betting service that sponsors our pod, and so I went on and started playing. And this isn't. Well, I guess it is a brag, but I turned my $50 investment. Now I'm over $1,100, and I've done it in 4 weeks, 5 weeks. I haven't lost, and I'm gonna bet the Bucks 3 different ways this week to beat the Eagles. Look, like anything can happen. I'm not sitting in like zero chance. Of course, there's a chance, but that middle of the field is, I'm telling you, it's going to be open. It all depends if Tom's going to throw it, and really, who do you take away? The past couple of games, they started doubling Chris Godwin, but then that leaves you Mike Evans and Antonio Brown. I mean, it's the very definition of embarrassment of riches on the offensive side of the ball. And when you got Tom Brady throwing it, I mean, there's just if
anybody knows how to
look, I know. Look, I've been a Bucks fan. We have sucked for years. I know. What it is everything has to go perfect on, like, me being a Bucks fan during the Jameis years, playing a team that's I think is better on paper. Can you beat them? Yeah, you can beat them. What has to happen? Well, the offensive line has to play better than their defensive line. The running backs have to have a good game. No drops, no interceptions, no turnovers. Then the defense has to not give up any touchdowns. They have to get 2 turnovers. Can all that happen? Yeah, it can. And then you might win the game. Yeah, I get it. I'm there. It's your team. You're going to roll with them. Is there a scenario that the Eagles beat the Bucks? Of course there is. Is it going to happen? No, it's not.
What you said? He said what you said about no explosive plays here. He said Quez Watkins, Jalen Reagor, and Devontae Smith all had over 40-yard catches this year. And you guys are 30th or 31st in the passing team. Atlanta put 25 on y'all and put 6.
Okay, well, that's 3 pass plays. Sure. Okay. You have 3 pass plays over 40 yards. I'm not trying to get into a back and forth and argue with people here. We are not. Tom Brady's leading the league in passing yards, so I don't know where the 31st things comes from.
No, he's saying you guys have the 30th or 31st ranked pass defense.
Right, but no one's going over the top on us because we're playing too high and we're making them keep it in front of us, and everyone's going on the outside. They're putting up a lot of yards, and I get it, and people have scored on us. I get it. I'm not sitting here saying that, we're gonna crush the Eagles 45-0, and they're never going to be able to move the ball, and everything's going to be a 3-and-out. No, it's gonna be an NFL game. I don't think it's going to be as bad as the Dolphins, but I don't think it's going to be as close as the Cowboys or the Atlanta game. Like, at one point in the Atlanta game before, that was just freakish, 2 pick sixes in like 3 plays. That was just, that's what made the score look as bad as than it really was. So, I mean, I get it. Like, is Hurts, but we faced Mac Ryan, Dak Prescott, and Sam Bradford. Is Jalen Hurts in that category?
Not right at this moment, no.
No, he's not.
I can't say that. But the thing is, you don't know what you're going to get from Hurts because he's had put up pretty big games. When we went against just the other, was it last Sunday? No, the Sunday before last. When we went against the Chiefs, he threw for 389 yards there. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? He can't put the big numbers up. He's done it always since his second game in the league. He's only 9 games in, so it's not really fair to compare him to any of these guys. To none of those guys you just named in their first 9 games have played as well as Jalen Hurts as well.
Well, we'd have to look at that. I mean,
Tom Brady wasn't good until after the 3rd Super Bowl, where he started really picking up numbers and stuff. He was just a game management over there in New England for a while. That was that defense, that kicker, and that run game that really won those Super Bowls early. Drew Brees, Russell Wilson. You can name all the great quarterbacks. Because they even said that Jalen Hurts had the most passing and rushing yards and touchdowns in the first 8 games he played. I don't know if that record changed when he went to 9 this week, or it was after the first 7 games he played. I don't know if it went to 8 after the last game, but
Right.
you know what I'm saying? Like, he is still breaking records as he's learning the game, you know, being one of the first to do, you know, being a true dual threat quarterback. And I don't think you guys have faced a dual threat quarterback. Dak's not really a dual threat quarterback. He's more of a passing quarterback
Yeah.
than Jalen is. So, you know, do you think that might present some problems to you guys? Especially not having Levante David playing this week and not having like your starting corners out. You got your starting
Right.
safety out. You know,
Yep.
Gronk's not playing, even though that doesn't really matter. The passing game is still legit with those 3.
Right.
But you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
if you guys had a full team, I could feel more see why there'd be more confidence there. But like, you know, you say your defensive line. I personally think our defensive line might be better. You know what I'm saying? Hargrave right now is playing the best D in football right now with 6
Right.
sacks and pressures. And Fletcher Cox just started back getting his first sack last week. You know what I'm saying? So he's starting to really get into the full swing of things this season. So with those 2 guys alone, you know, that's pressure up the middle, you know, against Brady. You know what I'm saying? That's how we got to him before. Whenever we played him before, it's just you got to get that pressure up front in his face, you know, to really disrupt those passes. None of those receivers get the ball if, you know, Brady can't get the ball to him.
Yeah, everything you say is right, and you know, I'm not banging on Jalen Hurts. You know, I don't mean to be. You asked me a question. Do I think the Eagles are going to win this game? No, I don't. Like, I just don't. I mean, yeah. Sorry.
So what kind of game plan you think you guys are going to go against, you know, to really attack our defense this week? You know, what would you think would be the strength to go? Because right now our defense is pretty good in the passing defense. You know,
Right.
we are struggling a little bit in that run defense, and I do worry about, you know, Fournette, Jones, and uh, Bernard.
Right. I think the best way to attack a Buccaneers offense right now is just play dime and make them run the ball. Like, make them run the ball, because that will make Leftwich and Arians impatient because they're big play down the field shot guys, and they don't want to do that. So if you make it to the point where it's like, I have no choice but to run the ball because it's the overwhelmingly smart thing to do based on what the defense has given us, then I think that's sort of the best way to slow down this offense. I think the middle of the field is where if I was the offense corner, that's what I would attack. I think if Gronk was in this game, I think he would have a huge game. He's not. He's out. Brady and O.J. Howard, it's not that they're off, but I don't think O.J. Howard doesn't get enough targets for me to believe that Brady trusts him like he does Antonio Brown, and definitely, of course, Gronk. I think sort of the pecking order that Brady looks at his receivers as far as like, I need a play, I'm going here. It goes Gronk, Antonio Brown, Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, and then maybe Cam Brate, even, who's the third tight end, even over O.J. Howard. Howard missed most of last year with a blown Achilles, and he's still kind of like you said about Fletcher Cox. He's just kind of getting going right now. So that's what I would do. I would pick on the linebackers, but if I was the Eagles, I would play dime. If there's anything bigger than dime, I'll play 7 defensive backs and make them
run. 7 defensive backs.
Make them run the ball. Make them have no choice. Like, like that old saying, like, you're making me buy it. It's such a good deal, I have to buy this. Like, I don't really want it, don't really need it, but, it's $60 and you're giving me for 10. Like, I have to buy this. So, and so make it like that and make them run the ball. So
dang, that's kind of was the next question too, Grant, because he wanted to know 3 keys for the Bucs to win, 3 keys for the Eagles to win.
Okay, 3 keys for the Bucs to win. I mean, I'm gonna skip all the basics. Clock management, no turnovers. Like, play solid special teams. Like, okay, that's for everybody. So we'll take that. Get that out of the way. 3 keys for the Bucs to win. Honestly, it's gonna be 2 of them are gonna be those cliches. Like don't turn over. I think if they don't turn over the ball and they don't shoot themselves in the foot, if they get below their average in penalties and they don't turn the ball over, I think that's enough for the team to win. I really do. Again, because offensively, there's just so many options that are Pro Bowl Hall of Fame options out there. Defensively, keys to win. You're gonna very fast, but also very inexperienced wide receiving core. I would just keep those guys in front of me and make Hurts go 10, 12 plays 7 yards at a time, and then if the RPOs start to become a problem, then I would take Devin White and spy him, and wherever Hurts goes, Devin White goes. We got Kevin Minter filling in for Levante David, but when the Bucs go nickel, they don't take out their middle linebacker. They take out a defensive lineman because they want Levante David and Devin White on the field at all times. But maybe this week, when you go nickel, you do take Minter off, and then so you get another big body in there to crush the pocket, and then have Devin White spy. So that's what I would be. For the Eagles, I think you're going to have to try some take your shots down the field to keep the Bucs honest. You like to think things like, well, at least attempt to run the ball, and that I don't even know that you should. I would just. The Bucs are very, and most teams are very susceptible to the slant. The first read, second read. Have those only play half the field. Like, what your reads are, Jalen? It's this half the field. 1, 2, no, run. And just do that. Of course, have to play a clean game. You're going to have to get the ball out quick because the way, your offensive line is all banged up right now. So that would be it for them. And defensively, I just, I don't know enough about the Eagles, sort of the one-on-one matchups, but if I was not a Bucs fan and you asked me how do you stop the Buccaneers, I don't have an answer for you. It's just like I don't know. I don't know. Malaria, suns in their eyes, I don't know. I don't know. Poison them before the game. I don't know how to stop them. It has to be like Brady has he's off a little bit. Doesn't hit any of his deep throws,
Well, how did the Rams beat you guys?
Well, in the Rams game, it was mostly because of the defense is what happened. It was a little bit of back and forth early. No team could kind of get going. Jamel Dean dropped a pick that really would have helped early because they were deep on the Rams side of the ball, but he dropped it. Okay, and then for the next 8 possessions, each team scored, and 7 of them were touchdowns.
Ooh.
Yeah, so now we're at the end of the third quarter, and the Bucs are down by 7, and I don't remember exactly what happened, but the Rams extended the lead, and then it was a 3-and-out, and then the Rams scored again. It was kind of over. But there were 8 minutes left. Now you're down 2.5 scores, and you're trying to catch up and all that stuff. But yeah, it was the defense gave up 4 touchdowns in a row on 4 straight possessions. Also, the Rams got the only way you can steal possession in the NFL. They scored last at halftime, got the ball and scored right away. That I do not understand why every team doesn't defer. Bruce Arians, it defers about 10% of the time, and it drives me absolute crazy because it's the only way you can steal possession in the NFL. Scoring twice for the other team's offense even has a chance to take a snap it's everything in today's NFL, especially the way the defenses are penalized for the way they play, and the offenses are given every chance and leeway to almost cheat to get down the field and score. So that's what happened with the Rams. It was more defensively thing, and then we had a couple of drives stall in the third quarter, and you look up and you're down 16 points, and there's 5 minutes left, and
And then JC said, "What about the Cowboys and the Patriots almost beating you guys? How's that? What do you think? What the problems were those?
Well, they almost beat us, but they didn't.
The Patriots aren't as good as the Rams or the Cowboys. So that was
the Patriots
that
was a big emotional game. The weather didn't help. I know everyone talked about how it didn't, but Mac Jones never threw the ball more than 10 yards. He completed 28 in a row, but all of them were 5 yards, 7. They were doing what
Was that the game Brady didn't score a touchdown? Was it their game Brady didn't score a touchdown?
I don't think he threw for a touchdown that game. I think the Bucks only had one touchdown and Ronald Jones ran it in. Yeah,
Mm,
so he didn't throw for a touchdown. The Bucks were like 4 for 5, or excuse me, 1 for 5 in the red zone, which like flip that is more the norm.
mm-hmm,
And it was so like you can't be these world beaters all the time, and I feel like I'm sitting here making excuses, and trying to defend a team that just won the Super Bowl and it's 4-1 out of the gate. Like no one's
mm-hmm.
perfect coming out of training camp. The defense has its problems, yeah, they do, but you know what? Right now the offense is making up for it, and we're still winning games. And until somebody somewhere out there finds a way to beat to be able to shut down this offense and make them score under 20 points on the regular, then we're going to be in every game. It's that's just the way it is. And again, it's just embarrassment of riches. And I'm not trying to be cocky. It's the team is effing loaded, man.
They are loaded.
They're freaking loaded.
They're loaded. But I feel like that's kind of like how I feel about our team, and like we kind of start out slow. Like I really feel like we have a roster that can pretty much play with anybody. We have young and experienced players, but I don't really think it's their talent that's not being shown. It's our coaches being young and experienced coaching that's really in the penalties really killed us. 'Cause I think you guys were second in penalties behind us as for one point, all the way up to like last week or something like that. But the penalties really killed us. We just shot ourselves in the foot. We should be sitting here right now going into this game. I feel like we should be sitting here at 4-1 as well as you guys. Like we had opportunities in that Cowboys game. We had opportunities in the 49ers game. We definitely have opportunities in the Chiefs game to pull that out. But bad coaching decisions and play calling decisions, and the penalties really hurt us. We had that game against Kansas City. We had 3 touchdowns called back. You know what I'm saying, due to penalties. So it's like we were more shooting ourselves in the foot, and that's young mistakes. Like you said, it is early in the season, and I think as the season goes along, teams will start really realizing that, hey, like I feel like last week was the defense's time to shine, where they came out and said, okay, we do have a good defense. Very big play. Slay came out with 2 picks. Nelson had a pick. We had 3 sacks. A lot of pressures on Darnold there. And he played a game that was not normal what he'd been doing all year long as well. So I think as long as our defense can keep riding that way, and this week the offense steps up, because the week before against Kansas City, our offense showed up. I'm saying, even with those 3 touchdowns taken off the board, our offense did show up, but our defense didn't show up. So I think if our defense shows up again against you guys, because like I said, we have just, you guys, I don't know. Like, I think Vea's really good. Barrett's pretty good, but, Barnett and Sweat's not bad off that end. And then I don't really know 2 better defensive tackles to be side by side with Hargrave and Cox there together. So,
Right.
like those guys are some beasts up there, and I think they have a real opportunity to get to Brady. Plus, they know Brady a little bit. They know some of his tendencies and like what he likes to do, considering we played him a couple of times already. So, like I'm not saying this. I think this is going to be a really close game. I don't see it being a blowout either direction. I think it's going to be a really tight game. It's probably going to be down who has the last couple of possessions and what they do on those possessions.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, it all makes sense. I mean, and I've talked about, someone in chat, and I'm not yelling at you, like, oh, I'm here as an excuses for these close wins. And then, you talk about, well, we had our opportunities in our close losses, but that's the NFL, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, JC. I mean, that's the NFL. I mean, that's what separates a team that's 6-10 to 10-6. It's those games where the better teams take advantage of those, or shoot themselves less in the foot, or the coaching staff as a whole is tier 1 and better game plans. Like today's NFL, the way it's set up, it's all about mismatches. That's all it is. It's all about mismatches. It's like, gone. There's so many good wide receivers in the league now. Gone are the days like I can take this one guy away and I'm not gonna let him beat us, and then we'll be fine. No, because like every team has 2 or 3 guys that can be Pro Bowlers. It's not like they don't have the numbers or can't get the numbers. They don't have the talent to get the numbers. They just got to get the targets. Yeah. So it's all about mismatches and really minimizing mistakes, and that's all the NFL is right now. So, Dallas is a really good team. Like, I was shocked that I thought we were going to go in there, and I thought we were going to win by more. I didn't think Dak Prescott, with no preseason, I mean, he looked phenomenal, has stayed looking phenomenal for the year.
Yeah.
The Patriots game, like, you laugh and giggle like you barely beat the Patriots. Yeah, okay, well, we beat them. Like we did. So that's all that counts at the end of the day, and after the week, and you can pick apart every game. Atlanta was within 7, almost the end of the third quarter. Ended up being a blowout. Miami was in with a 7 halfway through, actually in the fourth. When it turned to the fourth quarter, Miami, we were only winning 24-17, but we were like on the 1 foot line and going in. And and then I think we ran off 3 straight touchdowns, and there was a turnover thrown in there, and all of a sudden it's a blowout. I mean, that's the way the NFL goes. Like, this isn't college. Like, nobody comes up and is up 62-0 at half. Like, it's close, and then a few plays here or there make or break, and at the end of the day, you're either mad or you're happy, or you're like, well, good effort, moral victory, or screw moral victories. That's what makes it so great, man. And then by the time you come off your high or come out of your valley of being pissed, it's Wednesday, and you're talking about next week already.
Next game, yeah. Yeah, man. Yeah, we didn't even get to really celebrate getting off that losing streak there because, what I'm saying, we did have a short week just as well. My boy Grant Kazir 12 said, what 3 Bucs rookies have impressed you the most?
Well, we don't have a lot that are playing. This year going into the draft, it really was kind of like take best player available because we didn't have a lot of spots. A lot was made, and I apologize to everybody who has to watch so much Tom Brady Buccaneers coverage on the national networks. It's nauseating to me. Like, I'm tired of like Brady. Blah, blah. So we we got an edge rusher out of Washington who is very good. He's very ahead of his curve. He should be. His name's Joe Tryon. He's now hyphenated his name. It's Joe Tryon Sharinka. Went to the University of Washington. Got him the last pick in the first round, of course. What he showed in tape in college is not what he is now. Wherever he went, this is what happened. He wanted to play, but the Pac-12, if you remember, were sort of waffling back and forth if we're going to play or not. So he decided, he's like, okay, I'm leaving Washington. I'm going to California. I'm going to start training for the NFL draft. And then the Pac-12 came out and said, okay, now we're going to play. And it was like, well, I'm already training. Now I'm going to opt out. Whoever they trained with, like, he came to training camp with a toolbox of moves that he did not have on his 2018 Washington or 2019 Washington tape. So we're very happy with him, not to the point where it's like, hey, you got to watch out for this guy. It's just he's a rookie, no downside. He's picking up the defense. He's not doing anything stupid. He's there on all the calls. He's playing a couple of positions, and he seems to be doing it well. So we're okay with that. Our second round, we got Kyle Trask, quarterback out of Florida. If he sees the field in the next 3 years, something terrible has gone wrong. And then after that, we got a guy named Jalen Darden, who's been inactive for the 5 games. He's a sort of, think of the best way to describe him to people who know who he is he's Tyreek Hill, just not quite as fast or talented. He's got the same body. He's got the same body. He can make guys miss in space, but he's adapting to the pro game because he went to North Texas, where you could run backwards and around a guy because you've got track speed, and everybody in the MEWAC doesn't. And he got the NFL and was sort of doing this. Every pick sort of after this is kind of like a future pick. We got a couple of linebackers that just play special teams. Jalen Darden was 4th round. 3rd round, we got a tackle out of Notre Dame, Robert Hansey. He had his first action. Actually, first time he was actually active was last week. He got his first action. The rumor is, what everyone thinks, is that when Ryan Jensen, who's in his last year, who's a starting center for the Buccaneers, he's going to sort of price himself out, and Hansey's going to jump in and be the starting center next year. So on a team which is ridiculously stacked and loaded, and again, I'm not bragging, I'm sorry, there's not a lot of guys that get to play or even make the team. Like, everybody past the 4th round, we were like, I don't know if this person's even going to make the first cut, just because how deep we were. So I would say Joe Tryon. He wears number 9. If you're going to watch the game and look, he would be the only guy that's really going to be out there that's going to make any kind of splash, because the other 3 guys, Darden, Hansey, and Trask, are probably going to be inactive.
Nice. Hey, shout out to the 15 in the chat and those on Facebook and Twitter. Please make sure, no matter what platform you are, you go ahead and hit that like, and also subscribe to both podcasts. The BIRDGANG Nation Sports Talk and the PewterCast, that our buddy here is from. So both links are inside the chat. So make sure you subscribe to both of them. He said, "How you doing?" So give me some matchup. Give me 2 on offense and 2 on defense that you think are going to be the biggest matchups, positional matchups.
Oh, like who to watch?
Yeah.
I'm so excited to watch Hargreaves. Like I want to see what he does. I want to see what he's all about. And of course Fletcher Cox again. Like I think he's a Hall of Famer. So that's what I'll be looking for. We'll see if Slay has a big game. That might be fun to watch. If I don't know if does he follow or does he play half?
See, last week was the first week he started following. Like he followed DJ Moore because he's the best receiver. But you guys, I imagine he's probably going to stay on Evans, because he's the taller out of our cornerbacks. So he'll probably stay on Evans. And then probably Nelson will probably be on Goodwin. And then Maddox will probably be on Brown.
Yeah,
which is not the best matchup in the world. But we do have 2 good safeties that can kind of be over the top of that. So I'm not worried too much about it. But that is the kind of one that I'm worried about. That's a matchup for me. I'm definitely going to be watching.
Yeah, so, that's what I'll be watching for. Offensively, like I really want to see Devontae Smith. The Bucks don't travel right now. So we got Richard Sherman on one side and Jamel Dean on the other side. Jamel Dean's extremely inconsistent. Like he has, we've all had players on our teams, like all the talent in the world, just waiting for him to put it together. 1 week it's like he'll have 2, like last week he had 2 pass breakups and an interception. The week before that he gave up like a touchdown and 6 catches on 7 targets. It's just like what, like which one are you? Richard Sherman, we'll see. Very very smart player.
Still, you think they do like San Francisco did? Because when we played San Francisco, they got Josh Norman, who's another veteran, like kind of like Richard Sherman. You know what I'm saying? They're about around the same age, maybe a little bit. You know what I'm saying? But they're the old veteran type cornerback. They're probably not as fast as they were in their younger days. They doubled Devontae Smith. Do you see you guys doubling Devontae Smith as well?
I do not. I think Todd Bowles is going to play too high and try to take away the speed of the receivers and make them go everything underneath. But from what I know about the Eagles, that's kind of what their bread and butter is anyway. So it's going to be it's like putting 2 guys back there and they might just be bored all day long. Of course they're going to take their shot. Of course Hurts is going to take a few shots down there, but hitting those, I think, would be big for the Eagles. Pick up those chunk plays, be able to get down the field. But so I'm looking forward, to your rookie, Devontae Smith. No one's going to follow him, and I want to see what they do with Hurts. I want to see if they RPO him, if they try to protect him. Because of Todd Bowles' exotic blitz scheme, whatever really that means. I don't really expect to see that. I think that will kind of go away. Like the first series, okay, like the whole playbook seems to be open right away here. Honestly, I expect a couple of trick plays out of Philly, like going for it on 4th down, maybe a fake punt, Philly special, something like that.
No.
Yeah, I heard it didn't go
that
too well.
That play is wrapped up. No more of that one. No more. That play is retired.
Yeah, I heard it didn't go well week 1.
I did not. That was not the Philly special. That was a Philly not so special. That's what we call it over here. That was horrible. A horrible replay of that. You know what I'm saying? They didn't. To me, when I didn't even know that's what they were doing, and when they were doing the play, that's how bad it was. He said Quez is upset. Yeah, I think that's one play that you guys have to watch because everybody puts all their attention on Devontae Smith. And I really think Quez is our best receiver. He just doesn't get the targets. Like if you watch a lot of the all 22, like Quez will outplay because of his speed. You talk about Tyreek Hill's speed, and that's a guy that kind of is pretty up there with him. You know what I'm saying? Maybe Tyreek might be a little bit faster, but he got size too, and he's a lot taller than Tyreek, so I like him a little bit more. But Quez has been open. It's just Jalen hasn't been getting him the ball. Like I don't know whether it's just progression he's been going through, and then the pressure's in his face to the point where he's not getting to him. I know last week he had a nice open touchdown that Jalen, after he threw the ball to the sideline, the only reason why I don't crush Jalen Ford is because it was only 8 seconds left before the half, and he had to make a decision real quick. So he chose, at the point where he went back to fire it, at that point it was, I think it was Goddard breaking off on a route and Quest going straight. So it was right there in the middle where you had to make a decision. I think he just chose to throw it out of bounds instead of, going deep. But yeah, man. Quest, I think, is going to be a handful for a lot of teams coming into this back half of the season. And I really think Boobie Miles is going to get some carries, man. Miles haven't got the carries. I think the most was last week. He got up to 11 carries, they said. And a lot of those were in, the end of the game, running out the clock type plays as opposed to during the game. And I think the coach has to realize that we have to run Miles Sanders to win this game. You know what I'm saying? To win most of our games. If we would have ran them the last couple of games, we probably could have won, because you need a running game, for the play calls that he likes to call. You can't keep doing all these play actions and no one believing you running the ball because you don't run the ball. You know what I'm saying? What's the use of a play action if you're not, a run threat? Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So I think that he understands it's not that his plays don't work. It's just it don't work without running the ball. Plus, our linemen would be a lot more healthier if we ran the ball. They're too big to be backpedaling all game. Our defense would be playing a lot better because the first half defense for our team has been great. I'm saying? It's that second half defense because teams run the ball on us all the first half, while they're passing. They're still asserting their run game on our defensive linemen and defensive linebackers and stuff to the point where we are gassed out by the third and fourth quarter because we are passing offense. So, I think that, I really think that we can do this, if we run the ball. Even though I know you guys got a really strong run defense there, I think, even with the players out of our offensive line, we still got a pretty good offensive line out there. They're not like, as bad as it was last year, because some of those guys are from last year. Plus, we got Landon Dickerson, a rookie that's getting better. He was one of the top linemen coming into the draft. Everybody worried about his health, but he is getting better every game. And then Mailata, you seen the big rugby guy. He's a beast of a man. So I think they have what it takes. Like I said, against Kansas City, we didn't give up no sacks last week. We only gave up 2. And I think that was more because Mailata had to play the right side because Johnson was out. And he'd been playing the left side the whole time. Plus, he was coming off injury. So I think, giving up 2 sacks, that's not the worst thing. Since they came back-to-back, it wasn't like all game long. The rest of the game, he actually did pretty well there. So, I think, it's going to be a good test. It should be a good matchup, man. That's all I can say. I think it's going to be good. And I think, we might be putting the world on notice, the NFL world on notice, if we can go out there and pull out this win tomorrow.
Yeah, that's every week for us. Whoever,
no,
we beat you guys. NFL world's on
you
notice.
guys could probably lose 3 games in a row and no one would even care. Whatever. The Bucs are slipping. Yeah. But they're still going. You know what I'm saying? Like, that all-star team that they put together for Tom Brady over there was just ridiculous. Like, I said that they were cheating last year. And all the players you got picked up, like, that's cheating. You reminded me of the Lakers now. Or
it was just, oh, you're free agent, want to come play? Yeah, good.
Yeah. And then I was like, how did you guys get Leonard Fournette? He was like a Pro Bowl running back on the team. All of a sudden, the team just lets him go. Oh yeah, we're releasing him. And where does he go? He goes straight to goes straight to Tampa Bay. I'm like, what? Then AB, I'm ready to go play with Tom Brady. I'm his roommate. And then you got Gronk coming out of retirement, all fresh from his 2-year freaking vacation that he was on. Like ready to play some ball.
We're so spoiled now that we got Sherman, and then people were all pissed that we didn't trade for Gilmore as well. Like, everyone got all mad. Like, everyone was mad for like a day and a half that Jason Light, the GM of the Buccaneers, didn't get Gilmore for his 6 and went to Carolina. After we've gotten Gronk, AB, Leonard Fournette, and Richard Sherman.
Yes, Richie, you can say it because you already said it. I put it up there for you. Yeah. Next on the network channel, we do got Moochie and Gary Pablo on their Wednesday night show starting in 23 minutes. So make sure you guys aren't doing anything. Watch that pod that's coming up next, straight up. Hey, so what's your score prediction? Do you think it's going to be a low-scoring game, high-scoring game, and what's the predictions for the game?
38-24 Buccaneers and Eagles get a special teams touchdown.
Nice. And then for me, I got 31-28 Eagles. I think it's going to be a close game. You know what I'm saying? And at the very end, we're going to do what we got to do like we did last week, my guy. And we're going to pull out that win. And we're going to get that W and bring it home. You know what I'm saying? We're at home. We can't be losing twice at home like that. We got to win this game. You know what I'm saying? Let's get it. Yes, James Washington.
You guys, you haven't won a game at home, right?
No.
Okay.
It's just a road. That's why it's time. It's time to win at home.
We're due. We're
due. Yes. And then it's let's see what else. Oh yeah. So at the end of my shows, I like to do an all-time team. Like my boy Grankis here said, we got to hear the all-time Bucks team here. So I'm gonna start you off with 2 quarterbacks. So give me your favorite quarterback play for the Bucks, and who will be backing them up.
Yeah, sure. Well, you have to remember that I've been a Bucks fan since the beginning. So
it's fine. Whatever you want to do.
My favorite player growing up always has been. I had a Buccaneer bicycle that came from Montgomery Ward's, and it had like all the creamsicle in orange, and you got a nameplate or you got a number plate on the front, and they gave you all these numbers you could pick from. And I was really torn between Leroy Selman and Doug Williams, but I went with Doug Williams. Doug Williams will forever he's my quarterback. When I started to understand football and watch football, Doug Williams was my guy. And then number 2, I mean, it can't be anybody else but Tom Brady. And
Tom Brady. The GOAT brought the championship home.
Yeah.
You got to put him on there.
Yeah.
Your grandkids here said Vinny Testaverde and Trent Dilfer. Give me your 3 running backs there.
Oh, gosh. Let's see. Going all the way back, Ricky Bell, but I'm not going to put him on there. I actually kind of like Jerry Eckwood a little better. Warwick Dunn. I love Warwick Dunn. You can never get a clean shot on that guy. Mike Alstott is a fan favorite. Really fun highlight reel to watch.
Yes.
You couldn't tackle the guy, but of course you could. But that only lasted really for 2 years, and then he got a neck injury and just kind of wasn't who he was. So I'm going Warwick Dunn, Cadillac Williams, who's
yeah, that's a new one on the list. Yes, Cadillac Williams.
Cadillac Williams, and then maybe I will have to go to Ricky Bell or Mike Alstott. No, I want to go. Oh yeah, Eric Rett. I loved Eric Rett. He came from Florida. I'm a Florida guy.
Rett was good. That was a good one.
Yeah, he carried the. No, oh my God. Oh, I cannot believe I forgot this. What am I talking about? No, Eric Rett. Bad Eric Rett. James Wilder, number 1.
Michael Pittman.
No, James Wilder. No, not Happy Feet Pittman. Like James Wilder, number 1. Like he just got passed for most receptions by Mike Evans, and I mean, Again, I'm old, so watching James Wilder, it was like run James Wilder, throw to James Wilder. Like the guy, I think he had over 350 carries one year. He carried the ball like 36 times in one game. I mean, they just rode this guy into the ground, but he wouldn't break, man. And he was the Bucs' total offense for like 3 years in a row. And they played him at fullback for the first 2 years they had him. It was
nice.
It was like if you want to, and I know no one is going to, but go look at sort of James Wilder in the Buccaneer record books and where he stacks and yardage and receptions and running yards and touch and all that stuff. The guy, I am still upset with the Buccaneers that he's not in the Ring of Honor yet. Like, I'm still upset with James Wilder, number 1, then Warwick Dunn, then Eric Rett. Nice.
Who would be your top 2 tight ends?
I'm probably going to have to go with Ron Hall. Vinny Testaverde years out of the University of Hawaii. When Sam Weiss was there was when I first really understood the tight end down the seam route was kind of uncoverable in that time of NFL because the linebackers couldn't run yet. I loved him. Thought he had great hands, vastly underrated. And then Jimmy Giles I could go with, who's another Doug Williams tight end who was good. I'm not going to go with Gronk because he's a Patriot. He's not a Buck. Even though he's awesome.
Right? Someone said Ron Hall for you. He been saying that. I had 3 other podcasts on here within the last day or two, and none of them said it. And he was like pushing for Ron Hall, so he's glad
All right,
you said it.
Yeah, Ron Hall, love that guy. And I'm gonna go with Jimmy Giles. Jimmy Giles, number one, was one of the weapons that Doug Williams had, one of the very few. And he was really good. He was kind of like Keith Jackson before his day.
Yeah.
Keith Jackson played at Oklahoma, and they never threw in the ball. All he did was run block, and he gets to the NFL, and he's like, oh, he's got hands, and oh, he's got oh, wow, okay, this guy's a Pro Bowler.
Right.
That was kind of Jimmy Giles about 10 years before Keith Jackson came into the league. So, yeah, Jimmy Giles and Ron Hall.
Nice. Give me 4 receivers.
Mike Evans, Mark Carrier, Kevin House, and Vincent Jackson.
Nice. Who will be on that starting offensive line?
Center is going to be Tony Mayberry. Guards are going to be Ali Marpet, not Ian Beckles. Who would be my other guard? Jeremy Zutah would probably be my other. No, Tom McHale. I'm going to do Tom McHale. Tackles are going to be Paul Gruber, one of my all-time favorite Bucks of all time. Left tackle, never spoke a word, like never gave up a sack, just had a Hall of Fame career, but he played on, a team that never won more than 5 games 10 years straight. So, and that's a little fan bias too there. Paul Gruber, the one tackle, and you know what? I'm going with the young kid. I'm going with Tristan Wirfs.
Nice.
I think he's amazing. He just hey. Okay, cool. I'm at work.
Okay.
And they're closing up, so they said they got 5 minutes before they're going to kick me out.
Oh yeah, we're wrapping it up right now.
Okay.
Anyway, this is pretty much it. We'll speed through the rest of it. Let's go defensive line.
Defensive line, I'm going, of course, Leroy Selman. We're going to do a 4-3 here. Leroy Selman, David Logan, who is his nose guard. Ndamukong Suh is one of my favorite human beings on the face of the earth, who I could not stand when he was Detroit, but became here. The man is so articulate, so smart, so much fun. I would have a conversation with Ndamukong Suh for 3 hours on any subject whatsoever. He knows wine, he knows food, he knows finance. Love me some Ndamukong Suh. Leroy Selman, David Logan, Ndamukong Suh, and I guess an outside linebacker I would go with Hugh Green.
Hugh Green?
Hugh Green out of Pittsburgh. Yeah, it was back in the day when you go Hugh, when you like, it sounded like boo. Oh, they're not booing, folks. Like you say that all the time, or like Kuechly Luke Kuechly for Carolina, Luke, and they're not booing. He was just a guy at a Pitt, and he was kind of like the only guy on the defense for a little while, and just hung out to dry. But he was really good. But yeah, so Leroy Suh, David Logan, and Hugh Green.
And then your 3 linebackers.
Oh God, Derek Brooks, of course. Levante David, of course, and God, I'll go with Batman Wood. Even though I would go with Devin White, but I don't want to keep kind of
young guy.
I'm gonna go with Batman Wood, or I could go Dewey Selman, Leroy Selman's brother, but I'm gonna go with James Batman Wood. He had the elbow pads, and he magic markered the Batman sign on him.
Oh, that's tight. Give me three
cool.
3 cornerbacks.
3 corners: Rondé, Carlton Davis, and Aqib Talib.
3 safeties.
Mark Cotney, old school, early, take your head off. John Lynch, half-tooth, Hall of Famer. And God, who would be my third safety? I don't know. I really don't. I could pick somebody like Jordan Whitehead, who's on the team now. But like they had some bad safety play. I say Major Wright because he was so terrible,
All right.
No. I'll pick just for fun. I'll pick Chris Conti, who
Kicker?
got stiff-armed out of the league. Yeah, I've got 5 minutes. Got you. I'm wrapping up. I'm sorry.
Your kicker?
Yeah, you got it. Kicker? Oh God, it's got to be Donald Igwe-Buike.
Who?
Donald Igwe-Buike.
Is that an old guy?
Yeah, he's an old guy. Either him or Billy Capice. Back when the Bucks were, like winning games 12-9, those guys were big for us. Of course, Martin Grammatica's, he's kind of a newer favorite. But I just like Donald Igwebuike. Uh,
Your
I think
punter?
he got busted for like cocaine trafficking like a couple years ago.
Nice.
Punter, who cares? Uh, I did like Brian Anger 4 years ago. Brian Anger like pinned people down inside the 10-yard line like 9 times, and I thought that he was like the best player on our special teams. But I don't know. Maybe
That-
Neil O'Donohue. He was like early Bucks. But yeah, no, who gives a shit? It's a punter.
Who'll be the defensive coordinator of the team?
Wow. Yeah, you got to give it just for longevity. That was a top 5 defense for a decade. You got to give it to Monty Kiffin.
Offensive coordinator?
I'm giving it to Byron.
Leftwich?
Yeah, but yeah,
Nice.
yeah. I'll give it to Byron. Sure.
And head coach?
Wow. Huh. Dungy. You got to give it to Dungy.
Nice, man. Yep. But that's a good one, man. You know, that was the first one too. Byron on the list was the first one. I think he had a couple other.
Mark Royals. That's a good pick for punter. That was
Well,
a good
hey,
pick.
thanks again for coming on the show. I know you got to get out of here.
course.
Go ahead and let
Yes.
everybody know where they can find your content at. His YouTube channel is inside the chat, so you guys go ahead and go subscribe to my guy.
Yeah, if you guys are interested in ever, listen to Buccaneers talk, not that you would, but I mean, hey, we're having
We
a
like all
conversation.
teams around here as long as we're not playing them.
All right, the best place to find me and what we're doing is on Twitter at the PewterCast. The PewterCast is one word. Just type it in. I'm always down to talk Buccaneers football. This is my little speech at the end of the show. The best place to find me is on the PewterCast. I'm always down to talk Buccaneers football, but if you feel like your take is too hot and don't want to put it out there on Twitter, feel free to slide in my DMs, and I'll talk Buccaneers football with you there as well, too.
Nice. Well, thanks again. Shout out to the 10 still in the chat. Please like on the way out your door. And like I always say, fly, Eagles, fly. It's going to be a great game tomorrow night. Make sure everybody check it out. I will be doing the play-by-play this Thursday. So have a good night, everyone. Peace out.
Good talk. Thank you.